So welcome back. Today we are going to do our shares topic from mathematics section unit 1. Friends, we know that whenever anybody wants to start a business, and that too on a very large scale, a huge amount of capital is required. And when I say capital, it means actually money. A lot of money is required. So an individual who would like to start a business, a huge business, large scale business, this individual may not be able to gather or raise that much fund, that much capital which is required to start such a venture. So what happens, a group of people, I can say a group of like-minded people, they come together and they form a company. The people who establish this company, okay, these people are called as promoters. The amount of capital which they require, okay, suppose this is the capital of whatever is required. This is divided into small parts. Okay, so what happens is, suppose for example they would like to raise 10 crores or 100 crores. So this entire amount, this capital is divided into small units, and these small units, okay, these small units are called as shares. So whatever these small part of this entire capital which is required to be gathered or to be raised, okay, that is called as a share. So a share is the smallest unit of a capital of a company. The value of a share can be rupees 1, 10, 50, 100, whatever that amount can be. So this amount of this share, okay, is called as the face value. We will be using this word many number of times, so we should know what is this face value. Face value in short will be written as FV. It is also called as par value. So each share can be of whatever number of rupees, say 1, 10, 50, 100, whatever, and that is called as a face value of a share, also called as a par value. Now these shares are purchased by people. Okay, so the company gets the amount, the capital which is required by selling these shares. So those people who buy these shares are called as shareholders. A shareholder is an individual who buys or possesses the shares of a company. The shareholder may have a single share or multiple shares. Each shareholder is issued a share certificate, and that indicates the number of shares purchased or holded by the shareholder. It also indicates what is the face value of the share certificate. Let us see an image of a share certificate, which is a sample share certificate. So here we can see that this is a share certificate. Here we can see the name of the person, say whatever that person is, say ABC, whatever, Mr. X, Mr. Y, or whatever. So this is the name of the person, individual, or whoever has purchased those shares. Is the owner of how many number of shares? So number of shares, this is signed by the president, vice president, or whatever the office bearers are. Here is the name of the shareholder, the signature of the shareholder. sample share certificate just to show that how a share certificate looks like. Okay, coming back. So shares are bought and sold in a place which is called as, so the place where all these transactions of buying and selling of shares happen, such a place is called as a stock exchange. We must have heard this word, also very famously known as share market. In Mumbai we know that there is Bombay Stock Exchange, BSE. Also we must have heard National Stock Exchange, NSE. So this is a place where people, well, brokers, all those things, they come, they buy and sell their shares. This is actually called as trading. So we'll use the common word trading for buying and selling. And these shares are bought or sold at a value which is called as the market value. We have just now seen a word called as face value. Face value is the actual value of the share when it was initially brought into the market, and market value is the current value of the share in the market. So the word itself means very clear that what is the meaning of a market value. Now there is a very interesting thing to understand, that if the market value of a share is same as the face value of a share, okay, so there is no difference between the face value and the market value, we say that the share is at par. Okay, so there is neither it is showing some great performance nor the performance is poor. The share is at par. But if the market value is greater than the face value of the share, in that case we can say that the share is traded at premium. Or the other word, we can say that the share is above par. It is higher than the par value or the face value. When the market value is less than the face value, then obviously the market value is less than the face value. So we can say either the share is being traded at a discount, might be because of some poor performance or some other benefits required, or the other word we use is the share is below par. So these are some phrases which will be used again and again. When we say that the share is traded at par, it means that the market value is same as the face value. When we say that the share is traded at a premium or above par, means market value is greater than the face value. And when we say that the market value is less than the face value, it means that the share is traded at discount. Okay. This is a relation between market value and face value, which is actually indicating the performance of the company in the market. So when a company earns profit, so anyway the company is doing some business, so if the company is doing some kind of profit, then the amount which remains after paying all kind of taxes, wages, some other debts or whatever, okay, loans, so after paying all those things, working expenses, whatever amount remains, okay, from the profit, that amount is distributed among those shareholders. So all those shareholders who have raised the capital for the company, they get the benefit of the profit. This profit which is distributed to the shareholders of the company is called as dividend. Dividend, what we have to remember about this, is always given on the face value of the share. Okay, it is not given on the market value. Dividend is given on the face value of a share. Okay, so this is about some basic things about shares. Let us proceed and see the various types of shares. Now, one type of share is called as a preference share. Preference shares are given to some specific shareholders. Okay, and what is the specific thing about this is these shareholders are entitled for a fixed rate of dividend. So there are certain shareholders who are privileged to get a fixed rate of dividend. As we know that dividend is given by whatever remains from the profit after deducting the taxes, wages and other expenses. So it may vary every year, right? So, but then those shareholders who get a dividend at a fixed rate, whatever may be the profit or whatever, then their shares are called as preference shares. So this is a specific type of share, preference shares. The other type of shares are called as equity shares. So what is the meaning of equity shares? Then these are also called as ordinary shares. They get a dividend as a percentage of the profit of the company. Okay, but that percentage is not fixed. The rate of dividend is fluctuating. So this percentage, okay, is fluctuating. It is as compared to the preference shares. These equity shares get a fluctuating dividend depending upon the financial status of the company. Then another type of shares are called as bonus shares. Okay, bonus means we have heard this word bonus. Okay, so giving something extra. So these shares are given to existing shareholders, again those not new ones but those who are already shareholders of a company, and these are given free of cost. The reserves of the company are very high and would like to capitalize it by converting those into shares. Okay, so if their reserves are very high, they would like to capitalize these reserves by converting them into not hard liquid money but into shares. What they do, they create these bonus shares, and these bonus shares are given in proportion. Okay, they are given in proportion to the existing shareholders. So what I mean by proportion is that, for example, bonus shares are declared in the ratio of say 3:10, for example. That means for every 10 shares which, for example, I purchase, I will be getting 3 bonus shares free of cost. So the total number of shares which I will be having now is 13. Initially I had 10, so the company is giving for every 10 shares, the company is giving 3 bonus shares. So total number of shares which I get now is 13, and all these 3 bonus shares are, as I said, they are free of cost. Okay, so these are 3 types of shares: preference shares, equity shares and bonus shares. One more thing which we should know about shares before we go to solving problems is the term called as brokerage. Selling or buying, okay, either you sell or you buy. Selling or buying of shares happens in the share market or stock exchange, as we have seen before, and this selling or buying happens through people or agencies which are called as brokers. Now these brokers, whether you want to buy or whether you want to sell, okay, for both the activities they take some kind of commission. They take commission from the person who is buying, and they take commission from from those who are selling, both the sides. Okay, this commission which they take is called as a brokerage. These are some simple things related to shares. Let us begin with some kind of problems. Now here is a question in front of us, that how much money is required to buy 500 shares at a premium of rupees 5 with a face value of rupees 10. We should first understand what is given. In all problems we should first understand what is given. So let us read the question. How much money is required to buy? How many shares? 500 shares. So the first thing we note down is number of shares. Number of shares is 500. Next thing, that these shares are to be bought at a premium. Now do you recollect what is a premium? Premium means the market value is greater than face value. Okay, so we are saying here that a premium is of rupees 5. Okay, and what is the face value given? The face value is rupees 10. So after the number of shares, what is the another information given to us? Face value is rupees 10. So, and premium is given as rupees 5. So what will be the market value of each share? What we know that premium is, when we say the share is at a premium, when its market value is greater than face value. How much it is greater? It is given that the premium is 5 rupees greater than the face value. So market value is equal to face value plus the premium, and which is equal to 10 plus 5, which is equal to 15. So 15 is what? 15 is the market value of this share. Now if this is the market value of one share and I want to purchase 500 shares, then what will be the total amount of money? So the amount of money will be equal to number of shares, that is 500, multiplied with 15, which is the market value of the share, and 15 into 5 is 75. You can use your calculator to check. So this is 7,500. So what was the question? The question was how much money is required to buy 500 shares at a premium of rupees 5 with a face value of rupees 10. The amount is equal to 7,500. Let us see another problem. Here the question is how much money is required to buy 600 shares. So we are supposed to buy 600 shares, and it is given that at a discount. In the earlier problem it was premium, and face value is given as rupees 100. So we need to know that how much money is required to buy 500 shares at a discount of rupees 4, face value of rupees 100. Let us list down what is given to us. We are supposed to buy how many number of shares? So number of shares to be bought is 600. What is the discount amount? Discount amount is rupees 4. And what is the face value of each share? Face value is rupees 100. Let us recollect that discount means the market value is less than the face value. By how much is it less? It is less by rupees 4. So what will be the market value of each share? It will be the face value minus the discount amount. So the face value is rupees 100, discount is 4, hence the market value is 96 rupees. And if I want to purchase 600 shares, in which each share has a market value of 96 rupees, then the total amount of money I need to buy these number of shares is 600 into 96, and you can check it that 600 into 96 is 57600. 57,600 is the amount which one need to have to purchase 600 shares at a discount of rupees 4 whose face value is rupees 100. Fine. Let us proceed. Again, let us read the problem carefully. There is a person Ramesh who has 250 shares of face value rupees 10. So Ramesh has 250 shares, face value being rupees 10. The company declares an annual dividend of 6%. Find the dividend received by Ramesh. So we have to find the actual amount, how many rupees this Ramesh has got, and the percentage of dividend is given. Let us again recollect that dividend is always given on face value, right? So let us write down what is given. First thing is, what is given is number of shares. Okay. You might be wondering why I am writing this symbol. Actually you can write number NO also, but I am used to writing hash symbol. Anyways, number of shares is equal to 250. Face value of each share is rupees 10, and dividend is given as 6%. Fine. So very simple. First we will calculate that what is the total amount. Okay. So the total face value, this is the face value of each share. So what is the total face value of 250 shares? Because this person is holding all those 250 shares, right? So let us calculate what is the total face value it has. 250 shares into face value is rupees 10 per share. So the total amount of face value is 2500. Now on this 2500 total face value, this person is getting 6% as dividend. So dividend is equal to 6% of 2500, which is 6 upon 100 into 2500, which is 6 into 25, which is 150 rupees. So Ramesh receives rupees 150 as the dividend. A company has issued 10,000 shares and the face value of each share is rupees 50. The total annual dividend declared by the company is rupees 50,000. In the earlier problem we had the percentage of dividend given. Here the actual amount of dividend is given as 50,000. What is the question asking us to find? What is the rate of dividend paid by the company? So like this, some kind of twisting in the problem happens. In the earlier problem, number of shares, face value and the rate of dividend was given. In this case, number of shares, face value and the amount of dividend is given. So if I would like to compare with the previous problem, the left hand side is given here. What is unknown is this percentage, and this value we can easily calculate. So let us do it once again. First write down what is given. First thing to write down is how many number of shares. So number of shares is 10,000. Zeros, okay, 4 zeros, and face value is rupees 50. What else is given? Total dividend offered by the company is equal to rupees 50,000. What is asked? What is the rate of dividend? First, what will we do? As in the previous case, we will calculate what is the total face value of 10,000 shares. So number of shares, that is 10,000, multiplied by face value of one share, so it is 50. So total is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? So 5 lakhs. This is the total face value. On this, some percentage of dividend was given, and that amount was equal to 50,000. So what will be the rate of dividend? Rate of dividend will be whatever dividend is paid into 100 divided by total face value. Okay, so if I do that calculation, what this becomes? So the rate of dividend will be equal to 50,000 divided by 5 lakhs into 100. So that comes out to be equal to 10%. So the rate of dividend is 10%. Let us do one more problem. Suresh has 200 preferred shares. What was a preference share? Preference share was a share in which we get a fixed dividend. Then he also has 300 equity shares where the rate of dividend is fluctuating. Face value is rupees 20. If the dividend declared by the company on preferred shares is 15% and on equity shares it is 10%, find the total annual dividend received by the shareholder Suresh. So let us write down what this means. Number of shares. In this case there are two types of shares. So preferred shares is 200 and equity shares is equal to 300. Face value is going to be same for both. So face value is rupees 20. Difference is the percentage of dividend. So dividend in case of preferred shares is 15% and dividend in case of equity shares is how much percent? 10%. What we need to do, we need to calculate dividend separately for preferred shares and separately for equity shares and then just add up to get the total share. So what will be this dividend? So dividend on preferred shares will be equal to 15%, 15 upon 100 of the total face value. What is the total face value? 200 into 20. There were 200 preferred shares and 20 was the face value. Similarly, dividend on equity shares will be equal to 10% of how many number of equity shares? 300. What is the face value? 20. So if I calculate this, it comes out to be 600 here and it also comes out to be 600 here. So what is the total dividend? Total dividend is 600 plus 600, that is 1200. We have just separately calculated dividend for preferred shares and separately calculated dividend for equity shares and then we have totaled it because that was the question, find the annual dividend received by Suresh. Okay, one more problem and then we'll take a break here. Okay, so Asha's Beauty World has issued 60,000 shares, face value of rupees 10 and the company has declared a total dividend of 72,000, right? So this is a similar kind of problem but still we'll do it and let us write down first the information which is given. So the information given here is how many number of shares Asha Beauty World has offered, issued 60,000. What is the face value of each share? The face value is rupees 10. What is the total dividend which the company has offered? The total dividend is rupees 72,000. Fine. Now we have to find out what is the rate of dividend. This is a problem which is exactly like similar one. We can do it directly because now we are good in doing calculations, but in case still you get confused, you can look back the previous problems. So rate of dividend is the total dividend paid or offered divided by the total face value shares is issued multiplied by 100. So we have the total dividend is 72,000 divided by the total face value will be the number of shares 60,000 into the face value of each share, this multiplied by 100. If I simplify all these things, so what is the rate of dividend is equal to 12%. Fine. So friends, let's go through these problems which we have done, and I'm sure that if you write down the information which is provided here in the problem first, then look at the formulas which are applicable and then do the computations, then in these 3 steps you can easily solve problems which are based on shares. In the next class, as I said, we will do some more problems related to some other aspects of shares, and then we shall proceed to mutual funds. Thank you for watching the video.